Stop lying to yourself. Stop dressing survival up as success. You keep saying you're fine, but you're not fine. You're functioning. Barely. You've built a machine, not a life. A machine that runs on caffeine, deadlines, and performance reviews. One that keeps everyone else comfortable while you quietly disappear inside. You've convinced yourself it's purpose, but it's not. It's programming. A perfectly conditioned response to a world that taught you achievement equals safety. I say life, but let's be honest, you don't have a life. You have an existence that looks impressive on paper and hollow in reality. You have a resume that glows and a soul that's starving. You have routines that make you efficient and emotions you've learned to suppress. You've become fluent in productivity and illiterate in peace. And the worst part? You've started to believe this is what adulthood is supposed to feel like. That pressure is normal, exhaustion is noble, and rest is something you have to earn. You don't own your life. It belongs to your industry, your profession, the people who decide your value because you decided your value was career-based. You've built an identity around being indispensable. So now you can't stop, because if you stop, who are you? You've traded freedom for relevance, presence for progress, soul for status, and everyone applauds you for it. You're the dependable one, the overachiever, the woman who does it all. But you don't do it all. You endure it all. You endure the expectations, the constant performance of being capable, the quiet panic that maybe this version of you is a costume, and if you ever took it off, everything you built would crumble. This is what burnout really is. It's not fatigue. It's fragmentation. It's the slow death of the self underneath the constant need to be valuable. You keep chasing balance, but you don't need balance. You need liberation. Because what you're calling ambition is actually captivity. You don't need a new planner or a better morning routine. You don't need another strategy to squeeze more life into a schedule that's already choking you. You need to stop mistaking motion for meaning. Because what you've built isn't freedom. It's a perfectly efficient cage. And it's time to stop pretending it's success. You're not burned out because you work too hard. You're burned out because you've been performing a version of yourself that the world rewards, but your soul rejects. You're not busy. You're trapped. Trapped inside a culture that worships execution, celebrates overextension, and hands out gold stars for self-abandonment. We call it productivity. We post about it, we schedule it, we measure it. But really, we're addicted to it. Because busyness is the one drug that keeps us from feeling how empty we've become. Somewhere along the way, motion became meaning. Achievement became identity. Silence became dangerous. And you, the overachiever, the reliable one, the fixer, the do-it-all without breaking one, became a prisoner inside your own success. You built a career on competence. You built a reputation on being the one who gets it done. And in exchange, you traded your peace for proof. You didn't mean to. You just wanted to matter. But the world taught you that mattering required movement. Constant, visible, exhausting movement. You know this rhythm. Wake up tired, grind through the day, collapse at night, and call it a good life because everyone else calls it success. You've mastered high performance, but you've forgotten how to feel. The truth is brutal and simple. You were never meant to live at this speed. Your nervous system isn't designed to sprint through decades. Your soul can't breathe when your worth depends on output. This is not a productivity issue. This is a captivity issue. We need to talk about the trap. Not the one you see, the one you serve. Busyness is the most socially acceptable form of avoidance on earth. You don't have to sit with fear if you're in a meeting. You don't have to feel grief if you're chasing a deadline. You don't have to face yourself if you're too busy saving everyone else. We call that leadership. We call that excellence. But it's really self-neglect dressed up as ambition. When did we decide that the price of purpose was perpetual exhaustion? When did stillness become laziness? When did silence become suspicious? You were taught that slowing down means you're falling behind. But maybe slowing down is the only way to come home. Because what if you're not running out of time? You're just running away from truth. What if all that motion isn't keeping you alive? It's keeping you numb. Let's look underneath it. Every time you check a box, finish a project, or earn praise, your brain releases dopamine. That hit tells you you're safe, you're good, you matter. But it fades in seconds. So you chase another hit, another yes, another achievement, another reason not to stop. That's not discipline, that's dependency. Your body starts keeping score. The headaches, the gut issues, the 2 a.m. wake-ups with a racing heart, they're not random. They're withdrawal symptoms from a life lived out of alignment. You tell yourself you'll rest after the next project, after the next milestone, after the next quarter. But the next never comes because you've built an identity that only exists in motion. And when you stop moving, that identity trembles. Because without busyness, who are you? You've confused adrenaline with purpose. They feel similar, both powerful, both addictive, but one drains you and the other restores you. There's a spiritual root here too. The moment you outsource your worth to productivity, you disconnect from your soul. You stop hearing your intuition because the noise of obligation drowns it out. You stop trusting flow because force feels safer. You stop receiving because you only know how to produce. The feminine within you, the receptive, creative, intuitive energy, gets buried underneath deadlines and deliverables. You call it maturity. You call it professionalism. But really, it's suppression. You can't hear divine guidance over the sound of constant proving. You can't manifest peace while you're micromanaging survival. And your soul knows it. That's why you feel that ache, that quiet, heavy ache that whispers, there has to be more than this. That ache isn't failure. It's the alarm clock of awakening. It's your soul asking to be reinstated as the CEO of your life. Let's be honest. The system isn't designed for your wholeness. It's designed for your productivity. The more you produce, the more valuable you become to everyone else, and the less available you are to yourself. You learned early that being needed equals being loved, that staying busy equals staying safe, that resting equals risking rejection. So you never stopped. Even when your body begged you to slow down, you called it weakness. Even when your relationships dulled, you called it sacrifice. Even when your joy disappeared, you called it responsibility. But here's the truth. Responsibility isn't carrying everything. It's carrying only what's yours. You were never meant to juggle the world. You were meant to anchor it through presence, not performance. So how do you escape the productivity prison? Step 1 is awareness. You can't escape what you won't name. Notice when you glorify being busy. Notice when you brag about exhaustion like it's evidence of dedication. Notice when you say, I don't have time, because what you really mean is, I don't feel safe slowing down. Awareness doesn't require judgment. It just requires honesty. Step 2 is allowance. Allow space. 5 minutes of stillness a day. No phone, no checklist, no goal. Just you and your breath. At first, it will feel unbearable. You'll want to check something, fix something, be something. But stay. Because beneath the restlessness is relief. Stillness isn't punishment. It's permission. Step 3 is alignment. Ask yourself, what moves my soul, not my schedule? If your answer scares you, that's the right direction. Alignment often demands disruption. It will cost you approval, predictability, and sometimes people. But it gives you yourself back. This is the work. Remembering that your worth was never meant to be earned. You are not a machine in need of maintenance. You are a masterpiece in need of meaning. Real productivity doesn't start with doing more. It starts with being real. When you act from truth instead of fear, every action multiplies peace instead of pressure. You were taught to hustle for your value, but hustle is just trauma with a to-do list. And healing, real, soul-deep healing, starts the moment you refuse to perform survival. Maybe you've spent years climbing ladders that led nowhere. Maybe you've mastered the art of looking fine while feeling lost. Maybe you've hit every milestone and still wake up empty. That's not failure, that's feedback. It means your soul is done settling for applause. There's a moment in every high achiever's life when the success script stops working. When the promotions, the paychecks, the titles stop numbing the ache. That's the moment of initiation. The invitation to lead differently. Leadership isn't about doing more. It's about seeing more. It's about leading from wholeness instead of hunger. When you lead from wholeness, you stop trying to earn rest. You rest because you exist. You stop proving. You start being. The shift begins quietly. One morning, you wake up and decide to cancel a meeting that drains you. You choose silence instead of small talk. You say no without apology. You start measuring success by peace instead of productivity. And you realize you were never behind. You were just buried. Buried under expectations that were never yours. Buried under stories that said you had to earn love through labor. Buried under an identity that looked impressive and felt suffocating. And now you're digging yourself out. Not to build more, but to breathe again. Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to be productive, your life actually becomes more powerful. Because alignment amplifies everything. One soul-aligned action equals 1,000 forced ones. Stillness doesn't steal your edge, it sharpens it. Slowness doesn't kill your ambition, it purifies it. Silence doesn't waste time, it reveals truth. When you stop sprinting for validation, you start walking with purpose. You move slower, but further. You create less, but impact more. You stop surviving and start living. Let's redefine success. Success isn't full calendars and empty hearts. It's clear boundaries and quiet confidence. It's creating from overflow, not obligation. It's doing work that expands you instead of erasing you. Success is presence. the courage to stand in your life instead of rushing through it. Success is honesty, the willingness to admit that constant motion was never fulfillment. It was fear. Success is surrender, trusting that what's meant for you won't require you to destroy yourself to have it. You don't need to earn your enoughness. You just need to remember it. So take a breath. Loosen your shoulders. Let the lists wait. You've done enough for one lifetime. This is your invitation to exit the productivity prison, to walk out, barefoot and unhurried, into a life that finally fits. Not because you managed time better, not because you hacked your habits, but because you finally chose truth over performance. Because you finally decided that being whole matters more than being busy. Because you finally understood that the point of life was never to get everything done. It was to feel alive while doing it. You can keep chasing the illusion of control, or you can step into the reality of peace. You can keep performing success, or you can start embodying freedom. You can keep living like time is running out, or you can realize it's only now that matters. The door's been open the whole time. You were never locked in. You were just conditioned to believe you were. Walk out. Not because you're burned out, but because you're finally awake. If this spoke to you, join us again next week for another honest and transparent look at how we as women can stop existing and start living. Subscribe. And remember this: freedom isn't found in doing more. It's found in being enough. You always were. You always will be.